Alright guys, back at the Dodge Ram 1500 here, and today we're going to be putting on the accumulator. Now this AC system here, we've already done the condenser and got it mounted back into the truck. We added our 1 ounce of PAG oil in the condenser, put a new condenser fan motor on, and today we're going to be installing our new accumulator. And I'm fixing to add PAG 46 to the accumulator. Now my system for the truck calls for, according to the manual, calls for 6 ounces of PAG 46, and it says put half the charge in the air compressor itself and distribute the rest throughout the system. The book calls for 1 ounce in the condenser and 2 ounces in the accumulator. So I've already swapped over the mounting bolts to the new one, and we are going to be adding our 2 ounces of new PAG 46 oil to the accumulator, and then we can mount the accumulator up onto the firewall. So let's start adding that oil, shall we? What I'm going to do is take the cap off. We're just going to add it in here. We've already measured 2 ounces out PAG oil for this. We'll hold it up here, let it drain into the system. So what it's doing is slowly filling this up, and then I've got to tilt it a little bit so it can drain into the other tube here and then work its way down inside. Alright, now that we've added 2 ounces of PAG 46 oil to the accumulator, now we can go ahead and mount it into the truck. You want to keep your caps on it until you're absolutely ready to mount it, because you don't want a bunch of moisture to get off in here. But now that we are ready to mount that onto the firewall, we're going to remove this cap, and we're going to oil those O-rings with PAG 46 oil. We'll put some on our finger and just rub it all in around it. Get those nice, well lubricated, and then slap her on. Now we can remove our duct tape. Now we got our duct tape off. We can wrap this in here. I don't want to line up our hoses. There we go. Line up our bolts to the bracket. Alright, so when you're putting your accumulator on, you want to press it into the evaporator right there. It's coming out of the firewall until you hear a click. Then you know you've got it locked in place. Then you can tighten up the 10mm bolts. Now that we'll tighten those bolts up here in a second, the rest of the way, and snug them down. And now that we got the first portion going into the firewall evaporator, this next line will be going to the air compressor. I'm going to do it a little later. We're going to skip that step and we're going to put on this new hard line. Now this is an inline that goes out of the firewall and then connects to the side here. And this line actually has the orifice tube inside of it. And I showed you in the other video how to take it off. Now we're going to be putting this new line on with the new orifice tube inside of it. And I'll show you how to run that and hook it up. Alright, now same as before, you want to take all your O-rings and replace them. I've taken off all the old ones. I've took the 3 new ones, matched them up, make sure we got the right size. I dipped them in PAG oil, so soaked in PAG oil, then I put them on here, and that's real simple, but it's a step you don't want to avoid. Now we can put this new line on here and route that and slap it into the firewall that goes into the evaporator. We'll oil those new rings up again, slap it in over here. Then we'll have our new hard line, as well brand new orifice tube that's inside that line. So first thing, we want to kind of get it routed, kind of get it to where it needs to be. Make sure you got everything right. That's how you want it to go. Alright, so now we're going to slap it into here first. We'll remove our duct tape that kept the evaporator clean. No bugs, debris, anything flew up in there, so we have duct tape on it. We'll remove our cap, revealing the new 3 O-rings on it. We've got some PAG oil here in this cap. I'll just dip some on my fingertip and work all the way around these new O-rings. Make sure they're nice and lubed up. Now we can install this till we hear it clicking. Alright. I've got that now. I'm going to press on it a little more. There we go, I just heard it click. Alright, so now that's in. Now we can try to prepare it to lock in over here on this side. And we got this screw on the outside of it. Get this kind of mounted into its location with that clip right there. Make sure we're sealed and locked in. This side, I'm going to oil these rings one more time, even though I just done it. Alright, we've got that hard line on, so now we've got a brand new AC high pressure line going into the evaporator, and inside of that line is a built-in orifice tube. And now we've got it all buttoned up. I had to actually take it apart again, it was going in a little crooked and it was like tearing up the O-ring, so I put a new O-ring on there, re-lubed it, loosened up the brackets and everything so I could get a straight alignment out of it, and it went right in that time. So now I'll put our last cap on right here, and there we go. Okay, before I hook up that last AC line to the accumulator, I'm going to go ahead and install this bracket so I can button this whole side up over here. This is the bracket that holds the air box together. Basically there's 2 bolts on bottom and 2 bolts on top. We'll line the 2 bolts up on top, get them started. Then I'll take y'all to the bottom and show you where those bolts are at. Alright, we have the 2 on top started, so let's go to the bottom. I hope you'll be able to see this with the AC, or with the sunlight. Basically, you're going to have to drop this inner fender well cover, and then, I don't know if you can see that, but right there will be one mounting bolt, as well as right here will be the other mounting bolt. So let me install these, get them started, and then I can tighten these up, and we can button this bottom section up. There, got that one started. Let's see, there we go. This one started. Alright, now that's in there a little crooked, so I'm gonna, there we go, that's better. There we go. Alright, so I'm gonna tighten those up, and then we just push this inner cover back up in its place, and it's held on by, I believe there's 8 of them. One here, one in the back, 2 up here, another one here, and one more back there in the top middle, but they're hard to see with the sun and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and button all that up, then I'll be able to put my cover back onto the fender flare. So let me go grab some tools.